What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be The Girl in the Spider's Web. Now, this one comes from Sony Pictures Entertainment, and it's actually a sequel to the 2011 version, which is also a reboot of or remake of the Swedish version way back when that starred Naomi Rapace, and so this one makes it even weirder because this one's 7 years in between 2011 version, and that was, anyways. So this is the sequel to the 2011 version, and that 2011 version was directed by David Fincher, starring Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara. That's fantastic. Nope, wipe the slate clean. None of those people are involved. So we have director Fede Alvarez taking a shot, which is actually not a bad pick. I mean, this is the guy that brought us the 2013 version, remake, reboot of Evil Dead, which was great. And then, of course, the critical darling and smash success at the box office from 2016, Don't Breathe, which is a great horror thriller. So check out both of those films if you're a fan of horror in general. So he's kind of tackling something different, which is a more, suspenseful thriller, trying to be a drama type of movie. So that is where we are at. And so this one kind of follows Lisbeth Salander, which is the title character from the entire franchise, and she is played by Claire Foy this time instead of a Rooney Mara. So we get her, which is fascinating because she's been in movies like Unsane this year, and then First Man, and now this is just going all over the place. So she is a computer hacker, if you guys don't know the story, and so she's really good at what she does, and so people go to her to make her hack stuff that normal people wouldn't even know how to attempt, because normal people, including myself, we are idiots with computers, and I could barely turn on a computer, so hacking anything just goes over my head. Anyways, people go upon her, her services to hack whatever they need, and so she hacks this one specific thing that kind of deals with nuclear arms and government agencies and whatnot, and so it's a little bit over her head, and people can track that, and then they're going after her, and there's just nothing but a long chase scene peppering in with a little bit of Lisbeth's past, and that's basically the movie. There's really nothing more to it. So, going into this movie, I was not looking forward to it. I got to be honest with you. And it's not because I wasn't looking forward to the movie itself. The trailers didn't really get me. Swapping out pretty much the whole cast for, a new one. I was like, how is this going to even translate? Especially being 7 years later. Like, this is way too late in my opinion. They should have done this at max in 2014. So there's that going for it. And of course, as much as I like Fede Alvarez and I like his filmography, David Fincher is the man. And he's way better than Fede Alvarez, so you got that going in. But going into this movie, I wanted to go in fresh, going with a fair perspective, because maybe I'd be surprised, right? I got to tell you, trailers weren't that good. My anticipation was a little low. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's kind of like an okay movie, just like a very generic, like little thriller you would see on Lifetime at 3 p.m. In between your shows. There's definitely some issues with it, but it's honestly not as bad as I was hoping, which is pretty great because my anticipation was low and I came out lukewarm on it, which is better than I expected. So, I think what Fede Alvarez does is do something that the first one was lacking, which is the first one was kind of lacking in action, where the first one we get to know these characters is more of an introduction to all these people. It's more of a character piece, and it's just beautiful cinematography, really atmospheric music, and there are some action set pieces and stuff, but it's more of a slow burn type of psychological thriller. This sequel takes more of an action approach, where, like I said at the beginning, it is nonstop from beginning to end, where people are just chasing after her, and she's hacking into people, and then she's going after people. So what Fede does is that he keeps the camera work fresh. It's very slick camera work. It's actually some really interesting camera work when it deals with its action sequences or just its overall scenic shots. It is a movie that keeps on going. And believe it or not, at a 2-hour-long movie, it's a well-paced movie. I have no problems with the editing or the camera work. It's actually not bad to look at. It's not a bad pace. It's actually something that just keeps your attention, even if you're not really that invested all that much. You still like the general flow of it, and it doesn't feel like it ever slows down and then picks back up. It just a very constant through line with this movie. So there's that. On the flip side, though, the story is kind of meh. There's really nothing to the story that really kind of sinks your teeth into it and want to know more about these characters or this overall story of this hacking situation. This is just more of an action, long set piece that you go for 2 hours and kind of enjoy yourself, as an adult piece of entertainment. So here's where my issues kind of lie with it. Actually, before I get to my issues, the acting is not bad. I think Claire Foy does what she can with the script, and Stephen Merchant is in it. He's fine, I guess. I mean, everyone is serviceable. I wouldn't say anyone is like great or just like blows you out of the water with their performance, but everyone is serviceable. Here's where I am going to kind of dip this down from a C to a half grade. Is the overall story, the connection to the characters, to the audience, and the overall antagonist. So I'm going to start with the story. The story, like I said, is kind of just very generic, very basic. It's very easy to follow. There's really nothing in it that provides a lot of twists and turns as a thriller or even a suspenseful thriller. It's just kind of like, oh, I know that person's going to turn bad. I know that person's going to turn good. This person's going to end up over here at the end of this movie. So the story itself is just kind of like, it's there. That's fine. Whatever. I'll accept it. The connection between the characters and the audience, and even with the characters within the characters, is off. And you don't feel anything. For a sequel, you're supposed to have like this connection between Lisbeth or even the journalists, which this time is not played by Daniel Craig, is played by a gentleman whose name I cannot think of. I apologize. But when you have a movie that comes out 7 years later after its predecessor, you want to still feel like you're connected in some way, shape, or form with these characters, and you want to feel for everything that they do. You want to, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, really believe what they're saying, believe the actions that they're doing, and believe that these characters have had this relationship with each other, so us as an audience can connect even more, since this is the second one in its storyline. But you don't feel that. And I don't know if it's because the actor switches or if it was just kind of bland direction or what, but there is no connection there between the audience and the characters in a sequel to a potential franchise storyline. It's not there. It is non-existent. And that's kind of frustrating because in the first one, I felt for everything that Daniel Craig was doing, that Rooney Mara was doing, because it was under this type of direction from David Fincher that provided atmosphere and mystery, and you felt like you were on this journey with these characters, and you wanted to see where they would go. You wanted to see them solve the mystery. I could care less if these people solved the mystery. So, and, there were scenes in the movie where, like, Lisbeth and Mikael, once again, sorry if I mispronounced the character name, but the journalist. They're talking, they're just like, yeah, you've been gone for several years, and it's like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. And then one scene, they're getting a little cozy, and it's like, there's no emotional weight to this because of the distance between the first one and just it being a bland movie overall. And you're giving this information to the audience, and you're telling us to accept it. I'm not going to accept it, man. So, yeah, the connection between the characters and the audience, giving it a sequel, not there. And even the characters in the characters, it's just not there. And it's awkward because this journalist feels like he feels almost like a nuisance. Like he's not supposed to be there, and he almost feels like he's bothersome to the storyline. He feels like a weird injection that's just like, hey guys, I'm here. Remember me? My character from the first one? How's it going? I'm a journalist. No. Because it focuses so much on Lisbeth, which is fine, because the story is supposed to focus on her. But when he pops up, it almost seems like he's not even supposed to be there. But he's supposed to, because this character is very integral to the storyline. So there's that. And the third thing, before I wrap this up, is the antagonist. Without spoiling anything, I will just say this. The antagonist is very sudden, appears in 2 scenes, and we're supposed to care about what they're doing, what their motives are, if we're supposed to feel for them in some sympathetic way. That is also non-existent. So, and it felt lazy, to be honest with you. It's just one of those things where, like, once the first scene happened, like in the very beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, this character's coming back in some way, shape, or form, and it is probably going to be the villain. But when it gets to the end of the movie and it reveals that this person was just like in the background the entire time, like watching these characters, you're like, I'm not buying that, because this character just pops out of nowhere after like an hour and 10 minutes of not being there, and we're supposed to accept that this is the villain, and we're supposed to feel for this person, especially towards their final moments of life. So that was very frustrating. So overall, not bad. Some things are good, like the camera work and the editing, and just the overall fact that Fede Alvarez knew what he had. He kept it, going at this speed that I could accept as a 2-hour-long movie. I was never bored, so that's a good thing. But the story is lacking. The antagonists are just not there. And then, of course, that connection between the characters and the audience, not there. So it is a movie I have forgotten about already. It is very forgettable. Not bad, not good. I'm going to dip it down like a half grade like I told you. So I'm going to give The Girl in the Spider's Web a C-. So what did you guys think of the movie? Comment that place right below my face and let me know. And as always, guys, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.